So, welcome back to the show, guys. This is Michael Ellis Show. We are on episode 4, and I believe it's 4. Now I'm losing track of my days. But yeah, we are on episode 4. Definitely on episode 4. And today we've got Nur. Nur's a branding consultant. She's fantastic at what she does. She's a very creative person. And as you can see, the title of the show is Beyond the Logo and Why Branding Matters. So today we're just going to deep dive into why branding matters and why it's important to have a brand behind your business in today's world more than ever. So how are you today? No.
I'm awesome. And congratulations on your 4th episode. And thank you very much for inviting me. Third time's a charm. And I don't think many people know, but this is the third time. We are trying.
Yeah. Oh, we've lost you for a second there.
Okay.
And you're back. That's fine. Sometimes that happens. It happened yesterday. Look, we just continue. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. So, why does branding really matter? Coming from a brand consultant, why does branding really matter?
Branding matters if you are willing to provide an experience rather than selling a service or a product. Are we there?
Yeah, we're there, yeah.
Okay. So branding is about experience. It's all about experience. Branding matters if you are willing to provide an experience rather than just selling a product or a service. Or most of the times when we are dealing with as a creative professional, so most of the times we confuse branding with just a logo or just a design. This is not actually branding. This is a representation
Hence the
of,
reason why.
yeah, this is a
Hence the
representation.
reason why.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
And again, how you are representing yourself is how you are strategizing your brand. And that's all about branding, is all about picking up your audience, picking up your color code. That is how you dress up yourself, or how you talk to others, how you approach others. Sometimes we don't realize, but we are all the time branding ourselves. With our parents, we have a precise brand. With our friends, we have a precise brand. And with our profession, with our colleagues, we have a precise branding. That is different aspects of our personality. And you will even notice that we don't put as much effort on our looks when we are with casually hanging out with our friends as we put effort when we are in an official meeting, or we are meeting someone for the first time. So when we are dressing up ourselves, or when we are changing the tone of our voice, when we are carefully picking words that we say, it is only because we are giving them a certain experience, a certain side of our personality. And when we are picking up a business, that's all about providing a precise service or providing a precise experience to a certain group of people. And you can never be definite about about one certain brand that will approach everyone equally. It never happens. It never, ever, ever happens. Some will find this brand very, good to go, and some will find very attractive. And for some, it will be just trash, and some will forget. It will always happen. But when you are doing as an owner, when you are doing, you need to be very precise about for whom are you doing it, and then of those people, which side are you approaching? Are you triggering their hunger? Are you triggering their intimacy? Are you triggering their abundance? Or are you triggering their fear? What exactly are you triggering? And from that core concept comes the visual, comes how you are picking up your visual palette, your logo. And people are not much aware of the tone of the copy that is associated with the brand. As in, you will see that brand slogan. This is a very underrated side of branding. As in, brand slogan, when you are telling a story in just 3 words, and that's phenomenal. The copywriters or famous brand slogans, you will see that this is, uh, again, this every person who is interacting with that brand is interpreting that brand with their own experience. If I say Coca-Cola, what do you think of? You don't think about that calligraphic logo. It just gives you a very fizzy feeling and a very sweet feeling, or some will say this is not good feeling. But you will definitely know that if I say Coca-Cola, you don't think about always refreshing, or you don't think about that calligraphic logo. You won't replicate that, but it will give you an experience that is very liquid and that is very much, drinkable. So when you are doing branding, you are choosing a lifestyle, you are choosing an experience that will uh, associate yourself with the people you choose to go along with. And that's what I find fascinating.
It it goes deep. Branding goes deep, very deep. Um, so what do you say to the people that disregard branding completely? Um, they're not bothered about it at all, and they don't even. It's not even on the radar as individuals or entrepreneurs and as businesses in general.
Well, this is not possible. It's like gravity. I mean, you are in business and you are not doing branding. That is not possible. I mean, I am sitting here and I am not doing gravity. That is not possible. So, like I said, that we are continuously branding every second. When I'm talking to you, you are seeing a certain part of me. So, I am branding myself to Michael Ellis in a certain way. And the same things, if we, Julian, if I'm talking to him, that will be a certain way, because you as a brand give me a certain experience and I interact with that experience with my own branding. So if you are doing a business and you are disregarding branding, it's just a matter of awareness. You are not aware of what you are doing. And some people disregard logo, some people disregard, copy, which is very underrated, the brand slogan. And I know that many people are aware that every brand has a color palette and the positioning, but many people are not aware that brands choose their words. The words are carefully crafted, and there are some very precise words that are repeated. Let's say Apple, think different. You cannot say that $1 billion business, which is, everyone is using Apple, if everyone starts thinking differently, it means, we are all separated. It doesn't work like that. So if you are choosing a collection of people, and if you are choosing a price tag, or if you are choosing a product, you are already choosing a brand for yourself, for your business. So the best way to relate is to have a representative. And we know how ambassador works. So when you are representing your brand all the time, you are not going to talk to people individually. So there must be a precise visual that will trigger the audience. And every time they look at that, number one, they will familiarize you. When they hear the copies, the lines, or they read, they will familiarize. And every time they look at that, it will reflect. So what do you want your business to reflect? And how do you want to be reflected? That is, if I think anyone understand this personalization of characteristics and this stylization of features. But if you are disregarding brand, as in you don't want to have a visual outlet, or you don't have to have crafted words, or set of copy, or a brand style guide, and you think that your business, if you are providing a service, that will go long. It works on a very personal level, but it doesn't go long. If you are just starting up, if you are just doing market research, that's okay. But if you have a business, you must have a branding outlet. This is impossible to ignore, like gravity, like I said, and it's already happening. So when I'm looking at you, I know that you have your hair and you have your, this beard and this precise style and your eyebrow. So when every time I think of Michael Ellis, there's a certain face that is reflected, because you are a personal brand. And every time you must have noticed that when I am doing 50 Shades of Creative, why did I choose this name? This name triggers. And why I chose my logo and why I chose my color palette. I continuously share my brand stories. So those who are not aware, they need to understand that how it works, how branding works. And the copy, let's say my uh, brand slogan is primping brand presence. It's not only about logo, or it's not only about design, it's about a total personality. It's about humanizing your business. How will people look at you, and how do you talk to them? It's just give your business a very humane outline, and that's branding. And that is why, it's a creative studio, how they spend months, and the billion-dollar businesses, you all know that their logo story, if you just Google how many stories and over time how they evolve, it's all because they want to connect.
Connection is really important and key inside any business.
Yeah.
Do you believe that branding plays the biggest role in creating a connection with the people they want to serve?
Branding as a collective approach, yes, this plays the biggest role. As in, when it starts, in my program that I help businesses to understand about branding, it first begins with positioning. It doesn't begin with logo. So this is, of course, the biggest um, aspect of any business, because if you don't know how you are going to position yourself, and if you don't know 5 years later where do you see your business and with whom you are collaborating, as in if you want to collaborate with Bill Gates and you are choosing audience from McDonald's, it doesn't work like that. And if you want to be a spiritual leader and you are choosing aspiring Hollywood stars, it doesn't work like that. If you want to collaborate with Bill Gates, you have to, or Microsoft or Apple, you have to position yourself as a tech master. If you want to collaborate with Coca-Cola, you have to put yourself out as a very similar brand, work with those people who are very drawn to Coca-Cola and those who are very drawn to those products or services, and then you begin. Of course, with time, brands evolve, and where you are right now, and 5 years later, where do you see yourself? And you know how you hit a bullseye. You have to fix this point that I want to hit there. And from there, you begin. And afterwards, you have to pick that for whom are you doing this? Again, I said that if you want to collaborate with, if you want to be Apple, and you are picking Hollywood starlets or aspiring movie stars, it doesn't work like that. So you have to be uh, someone who is very uh, passionate about movies or production or TV series if you are targeting those people. So you have to understand what your passion is and who are the people who are drawn to that passion. And then you go to your visuals. Because if you are targeting introvert people, let's say, if you are targeting introvert people, you cannot go loud and very disco and very rock and roll because those people don't respond to those elements. So if you are targeting introvert people, you have to pick very low tone colors and very low tone voice. You cannot just, go ahead, move ahead. They don't respond to those motivations like everyone else. So every group of people have their own taste and have their own mindset. From there, you start your visuals, and then you pick your words, your brand slogan, and what will be the words that, your brand story. How do you craft your brand story? Every brand started with passion, and you know it very well that how it is just, you keep working and it's addictive. So this is a given that you started this with passion, and no brand will tell you that I am here to sell you this product. It doesn't work because everyone wants to sell, but to whom and why? So you need to know your why and for whom. And then you have to pick a sweet spot where your desire and their desire meet halfway. Let's say I love grunge, and you are pretty much familiar with my style, which is very maximalist and which is very narrative. So if you look at it, there will be a lot of things. But if I'm doing branding for a client, I have to hit that sweet spot where I can have some of my own narrations, but they can have the maximum exposure because I'm working for them. And then you pick the words that what relates you to those people. If they are if you are picking people who are very, let's say, introvert people, they love to read and they love to be by themselves and they can read and read and read. So you have to give them something to read. You cannot just expect that you will put video clips with full of materials and music. They are not very much fond of those materials. You have to give them blog, you have to give them articles so they can read, and you have to give them words because they are word lovers. And if you are picking extrovert people and you are giving them, a very big article, they don't respond to those very well. They want very disco rock and roll and very story like, very much elements, because they are always hype and their energy is high. So you have to match their energy. And afterwards, you need to pick that. In offline, there's POC, that's point of customers. So where do you find those people? If you are targeting very professional people, and if you are willing to work for big companies, and you are only present on Facebook, you are absent on LinkedIn or other platforms, it won't work, because the people you are choosing, they belong somewhere else. And yeah, of course, Facebook is where the maximum population of the world is present. Yet you have to be very straight and very focused to your target audience. You can just make an appearance here, but in the end, you have to uh, invite them to your home, as I like to call your website or your landing page, or in offline, if that is your office or your gallery, whatever place you choose. From where will people come to you, and how do you want to entertain them? If you are inviting someone at your home and you are just saying, "Hi, I'm Michael and I'm doing this," okay, so that's rude. This is not how you talk to them. If you are inviting them, you have to give them a tour of your home. You have to show them, "This is my home and let's have some coffee and then let's talk," without any agenda. You just have to create a moment with those people. So that is how it all, it begins from where you want to position, and it ends with how you position. In between the how do you give it a character, your brand a character, there comes visual, and there comes the words, the copy. And that is, yes, this is a holistic approach. Branding is, of course, most important, as in this covers from branding, begins everything, and everything ends with branding. You have to strategize. Like I said, it's a process, and uh, it takes months, years, and it's a never-ending journey. That's why I find this addictive. You can always work on it, and you can always make it better. There's room, always room. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Loads of value, loads of value bombs in there. It's great. And you're extremely passionate about branding.
Yeah, I'm addicted.
Extremely. Yeah. I don't think I've met anybody quite as addicted and as hyper in regards to branding as you. But
yeah,
has it always been that way?
Yeah. And it's
yeah, just straight, yeah.
Well, define always. If you tell me, I mean, it's 12. I have been working for 12 years, and I have a post graduation in economics. So now I am doing, 50 Shades of Creative. So they don't really match. So I was always passionate about art. It all began with childhood, and I was passionate about art. And then when I started working as a junior graphic designer, I got introduced with web design and graphic design. And then I worked in advertising agencies. I worked at brand communication and online newspaper. So the more I went into it's like an ocean, and the more I learned, and it all combines in a brand. It's all about branding. So I just picked up stories, and later I just found out that yes, if I want to pursue my passion, it has to be big. And of course, I'm a dreamer, and I cannot dream small. Nobody can. It's, as a human being, we are different from other animals because we want to do something bigger than ourselves. And another reason that, of course, why I am so very passionate um, is because of my failures. I mean, first I started, and then I failed. Again, I started, and this time I felt worse. And then I just, every time, this time, this is my third attempt 50 Shades of Creative. And I know that there's so much I can do. And I just, with every journey, with every uh, turn, I just learned that what I did wrong. Also, I learned that how far I can go. So, yes, this is uh, the energy that you see. This is also a celebration that, yeah, I am just back again and ready to go again. That is a celebration of my failures and my standing back up again, I would say.
So let's just talk a little bit about your failures. What did you try to do the first time you went into business?
It was always branding, if you ask me. But the first time, yeah, first time I wanted to do a creative studio, and it didn't work because I picked the wrong people, and it just crashed like that. I mean, they just disappeared. So
When you
it
say you
was,
picked the wrong people, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by you picked the wrong people? Did
there's
you
a side.
did you have a team around you and you picked the wrong team?
Yeah, it's a very there's a side effect of being, always hyper. It's I just, go for it. The downside is you need to take time to assess, or at that time I didn't have this big vision. I was just, I have this opportunity and let's go for it. Apparently the team, uh, how do I say this? So when I was all invested financially and I quit my job and everything, and they just disappeared. I mean, literally, they disappeared. As in, I give them the last cash and they just disappeared. And later it turns out when I was sharing this, or when I was asking someone for suggestion, there was so many things that you need to consider, you need to discuss before building a team, before investing. You need to learn about someone before picking them. Let's say, Michael, I want to do branding with you and I want you as my teammate. It doesn't work. I need to learn. I need to ask you first, and how we interact and how they approach. I should have taken time, which I didn't, and I just went for it because it was my dream and I had already worked for so long for other companies. I really was desperate to do something on my own. And then it just, like in a blink, they disappeared. And till date, I never found them again. So I was depressed. I was very, very depressed. As in, I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I was all day, locked inside my room, and I wanted to die. It was a very bad experience. And later, I started my studio again. This time, I did another mistake, which is, you know what? I don't trust anyone. I will do it by myself. Again, it doesn't work like that. And if I was willing to do a studio and I needed someone for marketing, at least if I was doing all the creative work, I needed to do a proper pricing. And this is how it goes now, I know. So you need someone for the web development, and you need to share an entire studio is a collection of work. It's just not just like in this room, I have a studio and let's go work. It doesn't work. So I was spending all day running from one office to another to find clients. And then I was doing, $20 a logo, $30 a website. Again, it doesn't work like that. So at one point, I was, for 2 months, I think I slept for 1 to 3 hours because I didn't have time to sleep. And I didn't have time to eat. So at one point, I collapsed. And when I was taken to the hospital, my kidney stopped functioning. And eventually, my liver got infected and I lost my eyesight. So this time, the failure was pretty much given because it had to happen. So all my studio was shut down and all my savings went into my treatment. This time, it was miserable because my eyesight, it took 8 months to recover, and it took 2 years for me to completely go back to work. And yeah, it was medical. So uh, the doctors couldn't do much because it all started with my kidneys. So the body wasn't processing anything. I just could sense light and dark. Otherwise, I wouldn't see what is written or what stuff it is. And very gradually, my sight came back. eventually it very much contributed in my painting, because
So,
you
so,
know how. Yeah, yeah, tell me.
so just quickly on that note, was that all down to the fact that you was overworking yourself?
Yeah, yes. And also I was frustrated. It was, I was, this time I wasn't happy, actually. This time I wasn't doing, the first time I was, all hyped up. This
With
time I just, yeah, was.
being be, being happy doesn't affect your eyesight, does it? Or doesn't affect your well, it affects your mental condition, but it doesn't affect your medical
Yeah,
conditions in terms of your
yeah,
body health. So
yeah, I was
I'm guessing
overworking.
that were
Yeah.
all due to the fact that
And
overworking.
I wasn't
See,
eating. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. I missed. Say it again. I missed.
so I've not experienced, well, I've not come across somebody that's experienced burnout quite as much as bad as that, where it's affected their eyesight.
Yeah.
Something that you would consider, well, anybody would consider prized, but I'm guessing you more than ever because you're a creative person.
Well, I didn't consider it as a prize, if that is what you meant. I didn't consider. I mean, in fact, when the treatment was going, I wanted to die every day. And I went to my doctors. I said, stop this treatment. I don't want to live anymore. I mean, what's there to lose? First, I lose my money. Now I lose my health. So what am I getting eventually with my passion? So I was totally depressed. I mean, people who have experienced depression, this is, something very fortunate people can recover from. So I was that depressed. And this time I was totally dependent, because I lost everything. And I was, how if you lose your health, you are not able to operate like a regular person. So this was a massive failure. And then I lost my loved one. So it was a very dark period for me. And then I just started, following on social media, and I found a work. And this time, since I couldn't work as a designer because my eyes, it was strictly prohibited that to work on computer for a long time. So this time I got an opportunity as a copywriter, and I just hit it, and it just started. And now again, slowly I went back on track, and now I am doing all this, and I understand how much to work and for whom. And yeah, recently you posted that how many hours do you invest. I know if I am doing 5 days and at a stretch, I know how much I need to eat, and how do I need to recover from that load, and how much uh, I only do the things that I find, uh, that I feel connected to. If there's any project that I feel that this is not the right person, or something is not clicking, I just let go. And this is what I learned, that when to let go. That this thing I didn't do previously. If a client, I will give you this work if you give me this. Nobody can say no to a client. This is an imposter syndrome most creative professionals suffer from. That is, if I lose this client, there will be never tomorrow, and there will be no one again. So many things I did that I didn't want to, and eventually uh, it really hampered my standards of work and my professional circle and everything. So I didn't, this time I was very scared to dream big, and I didn't want to. I just said, this is the safe side, a doing job, 9 to 5 job, and just no matter how much drive I feel, this is the safe side. But eventually I found the right people who, I say right people, as in they have the to same vision of making a difference with their passion. What I do, no matter what I do and how small it is, I know that I can make a difference. I believe in my purpose. And I found the people who believed in their purpose. And it's not about selling a product, it's not about just designing a website, it's about creating something that can impact a lot of people, that can impact lives. And you pick which aspect, like I said, that which side do you want to trigger? For me, storytelling, giving an experience is my passion. And this is really my biggest passion. I can go for hours as how you can craft a story, and then I can go to visual. And I am a big fan of narrative experience. So this time it took me 2 years to realize that what exactly do I want, and here I am today. So even though the energy didn't came back, three times as it was before, but I know that what are the mistakes that I made in the past, and really, as I always share, that I'm here to make things easier, simpler, and to make sure that nobody makes the mistakes I did. And this is how I can help, and this is how I can, you know, I take pride that I failed so massively. Otherwise, I wouldn't connect as much as I can now. What do you think? How failures impact?
How failures impact. Failures, you learn from your failures. It's a learning
Yeah,
lesson. Um, and once you do get back up and go again, you've learned that lesson already, and you can take the
yeah,
experiences from them failures and bring them over to your new venture, your new startup, your new whatever it is that your new adventure
yeah.
that you embarking on and going forth. And if you're not stupid, you don't make the same mistake again.
Yeah,
I say that if you're
true,
not stupid,
true,
because
true.
some people do. Some people do make the same mistake again and again and again and again,
And expect
but
different results.
and expect different results. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the definition of insanity. That, but
yeah.
yeah. So I don't see failures as failures when I come out of the. Look, everybody experiences it. When you have a failure,
Yeah,
everybody experiences the depression, the
yeah,
downfall from a failure. Um, Obviously, some people have it harder than others. I cannot begin to imagine what it would have been like for you
yeah,
the second time around. Never mind the first time around. The first time around were hard enough. The second time around, I can't imagine
yeah.
what that would have been like. I can't even contemplate it. I have some sort of idea. I have no eyesight in my left eye from an accident when I was 15. Um, but I was 15 years old. I was naive. I was young. I didn't really have any depression over it or anything like that. And that's just one eye, not two. Not eyesight. There was just one.
Okay.
So I can't imagine what it'd have been like. But everybody goes through. Everybody has a downside on failure. But when you get back out on the other side and you start getting yourself back up, um, and you start rising and you start thinking about, yeah, I'm going to go for it again, I'm going to do it again, then you can take all them experiences that you've had and use it to your advantage. Because
Yeah,
like I said, you would have to be stupid to do all the wrong things again
yeah.
that you
And
did
expect
last
different
time
results. Yeah.
and
So,
expect
and
different results. Yeah.
so this is what my mentor, my business mentor, and she always says that insanity, how Albert Einstein defined insanity. Most of us do the same thing. We go from one job to another job, and eventually we are burnt out, and we are too scared to try something new. We are too scared to take an initiative, and we are very frustrated because we have limited time and everything. So it works on every aspect. We do the same thing over and over again. In relationship, people make the same mistake, pick the same type of people, and they're frustrated that why doesn't it work. So you need to take an initiative. And what I would say that this time I would say that my major winning, the major learning, or what is the massive change that happened inside of me, is that I learned to give time, and I learned to be patient. And yeah, it's not, previously it would be boring, or I would say that how long do you need to make a decision, oh my god, just go for it. But now I know that I can go for it, yet I can wait for, before making a life changing decision. As in, I am out there, 50 shades of creative is out there, but I still know that here are the rooms that I need to fill in, and these are uh, whoever I need to team up with, they must have the same vision. And then, yeah, it's all about an experience, and it's all about how you are building your network. And things usually don't happen overnight. This is what I learned, that when people say that, yeah, he became a billionaire overnight, which really intrigued me in the very beginning, in my past years, that, oh my god, I can do this. If they can do this, I can do this. I really didn't count the fact that things that happen overnight have a massive amount of time before that overnight. So this is what I learned, that there may be a massive breakthrough overnight, but if I have already invested 12 years, so the best things must have that amount of time and effort invested. So this is the major change that happened, and this is the major thing that I am working on this time with 50 Shades of Creative, that I am willing to give it time, and I am willing to build connection with people rather than telling them, you know what, buy my logo and your brand will be, it will be an Oscar red carpet. It doesn't work like that. And I need to understand that, what do they want? Do they really want a red carpet, or do they really want a very homely experience? And then we always hit a sweet spot, a win-win situation. That's business. You have to be in business, in a business outlet. You cannot be all emotional, and there's always room to work on, and it's never boring. This is what I learned, and I am very thankful that none of my plans ever worked out, because yeah, those now seem that I just suffered for pretty small stuff. It seems like that now, because the best things deserve time and effort, and effort is gorgeous. You will always notice that people who are putting an effort to reach out to you, to talk to you, and when they're making an effort, when they're coming to visit you, no matter if it is professional, if it is personal, you will always notice that when someone puts an effort, it creates a sense of uh, respect. It creates a sense of intimacy. It creates a sense of uh, giving and a generosity. So it always works. It always works. And like I say, that treat your audience like your first date. And I never forget. And that is how building relationship takes time. And I'm willing to put that time this time. I'm not willing to, be in history overnight. It doesn't work like that. That overnight deserves many, many nights.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. There's really no such thing as an overnight success.
Mm,
Um, and people that say that there is or there isn't, or when the people that say that there is such a thing as an overnight success, no, there's a
yeah,
lot of stuff that's led up to that event that has happened that's caused them to
mhm,
look like they're an overnight success. It's
yeah,
not. No one's an overnight success. Someone might hit a big deal with a company, and suddenly their company or their business is valued at a high amount of money. But before that deal has happened, there's a lot of stuff that's gone on that's caused that deal to be able to happen in the first place. No one just goes straight over to a company. No one sells.
yeah,
No one sells. No one sells something. Well, no one sells a business for $1 million or $1 billion or whatever without having a lot of work and effort going into it.
yeah,
And that's the
true.
same in anything. You don't get married at first sight
No, no, we don't.
unless if you're on the TV show Married at
Yeah,
First Sight. But usually you don't get married at first sight. Um,
yeah,
because it's took a long time for that relationship to develop into something that's fruitful and knowing that it's going to last a lifetime. Um, so no one has success overnight. It's impossible. Like you say, it takes many, many, many nights to become an overnight success.
and
And it's
yeah, say,
it's it's great to hear that from somebody that's failed twice.
yeah,
And this is
and
another thing.
massive fail.
If
It's
you
not a
haven't
small.
failed, if you haven't failed, have you really experienced life? Because
Oh
at some point,
no.
everybody's going to fail, or at
And
least
yeah,
should have
I
done
have
on the way up to the top.
uh yeah, people failing, it seems hard. It is hard. I would say that failure is not as romantic as you read, on a Facebook carousel. You read that Steve Jobs went through this failure, and now he's, Apple's. So life doesn't happen in 6 slides. Life happens in months, years, and life happens in billions of moments and billions of actions. So failing is hard, and yes, it will be really hard, but you deserve that. If you have put your all in, and that thing doesn't work, it must be sad. If you are not sad, it means you are not really attached. I mean, some people, they, after they break up, they just, up for the next. It means they were never really attached, and you don't want to have a relationship like that. You want them to be sad. And this is what, in any aspect of life, it's the same. If you fail, it will be hard. Be willing to go through that, because otherwise, what's, your passion? And sometimes you may find different passions. Sometimes, I mean, the world is a buffet of experience. So if this doesn't work, you must be willing to fail. And we know the pressure comes from, what do I have to show for it? I mean, for me, the depression was mostly because I have wasted these many years. I have lost so much. What do I have to show for it? I mean, of course, that is failure if you have nothing to show for it. But again, all your experience, it's there. This is never vanished, or this is never disappeared. So take all that and go slow and start your next journey. And this time, for me, how I am willing to make mistakes, I am willing to even fail, if that is what's going to happen. I am willing to go through that, because I know that this 12 years of experience is how I am here today. And I am talking to you now, which, when I was willing, and my first 2 times, I didn't even dream of going, beyond my capital. And now I'm thinking global, and I am connecting with people from all around the world, thanks to the great lockdown. But I am able to connect to people from all around the world. And every single person is teaching me a new story, is giving me a new experience, and I know how they perceive life is something I must put in, my file, and something I must go through often to learn something. And the more I gather, the more I can give. And this is addictive. And that is why I just keep coming back again and again, because it's addictive once you just have the gist of it. I think it works for you, it works for everyone.
Yeah, yeah. So it's been great chatting to you over this course of this 45 minutes that we've been on. What I'll do is I'll just drop down a link there. So if you head over to michaelelisonline.com/go/nur, NUR, Nur. That will take you straight over to Nur's Facebook profile, where you can go interact with her and offerings on her Facebook profile. You might need to update some of your details on your Facebook profile though now. Some of them are going to places that don't work, but that's okay. I'll leave that for you to sort out. And but yeah, you can go over to her Facebook profile. You can add her as a friend. She's a lovely person.
Oh, thank you, Michael. Thank you, and you're the cool guy.
So yeah, guys, if you head over to michaelelisonline.com/go/nur, NUR, it's also in the description. And if you're listening on the podcast, it'll be in the show notes below. So that's any final words you want to say?
Well, I would like to say my favorite quote of Neil Gaiman, that is, make glorious, amazing mistakes. And that are the things that create the striking point. Not all success, everybody wants to be successful. But yeah, when I'm telling this story, you know how fun it is, that wow, it was one hell of an experience. So make as many mistakes as you can. It's fun.
It's fine. Thanks, guys. Thanks for
And
tuning in, and I'll see you next time.